Well, welcome to the garden of Robin and Bruce Brown in Fairview, Tennessee. My name is Troy Marden, and I am a good friend of Robin's for about 25 years. My career has been in garden design mostly, and Robin's been a great friend and a gardening buddy for a really long time. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here today, but I want to take you around, show you the garden, because it is something that's really worth seeing. So one of the things that I really love about this garden is the structure that she has created here. I think it's always important to have really good bones in a garden. As a designer, that's always the first thing that we try to create, is what is the layout of the garden going to be? Where are the steps going to go? What does the grade look like? And then where do we plant key plants that help define either rooms or spaces, or some help to define some element of surprise in the garden by going around a corner and finding something new. Those are the kinds of things that I'm always looking for, and it's, I think, the kind of thing that Robin has done so well here, from the beautiful stonework to these great Graham Blandy boxwoods, which 3 months ago during the ice storm that happened here were bent completely over. They looked like horseshoes. The tops were touching the ground. And thankfully they have righted themselves again, because these exclamation points, I think, are really important in the garden. When so many of the perennials and things are on a ground plane, it's nice to have these really vertical elements that mimic the tree trunks and the things that we have in this shade garden. And this is a nice location because we have really high shade. Robin has really high shade here. So in the morning, you can see we get this really nice sunlight that comes through, and she has the ability to grow a wide range of plants because of that. You get this great dappled shade all day long, and you can see that the plant palette here is really large.
Super lucky to have Troy come on in this video with us, because he knows a lot about this garden. It's a friend of his, so friends of friends. We'll talk more about that at the end of the video. This garden has this fountain right in the middle of it, and you can hear this water noise in the background. It just makes the rest of the neighborhood just kind of disappear when you're in the back garden area. And you can see how good she is with all the contrasting pieces that are in just one little space like this, where you have the ferns coming up. Again, this is going to be a very changeable garden during the year. The hosta are just on fire right now in the spring. This is going to be, the peak time of year. Geranium that's in flower, but there's other perennials coming up all over the place in here that are just one after another going to take the place. As you think the garden, you see all this phlox out here, but it's almost kind of past its peak, and you think, well, that's going to be it. That was the show. It's not at all. There's some Feather Falls Carex. I like the container that she has, just a grain. That hosta would just disappear back there, but this is people with a little vision like this. That hosta really doesn't even need to be watered all that much if you put it in a big enough container. They're pretty rugged, pretty rugged in a container like that. And then again, that sound in the background, that bench in the background of it, the Japanese maple back there. It's just like a painting, right? I mean, if you were going to do a painting of a garden, I think this is what it would look like.
As a friend who comes over and visits the garden, one of the things that I love about this space is that there are places to come and sit, there are places to wander, there are things to discover, there are hidden spots. There's always something to find here, and I've been coming to this garden for 25 years, and every time I'm here, I find something new to sort of wonder at. The thing that I really love is that for 4 seasons of the year, there's interest here, and part of that goes back to the structure that we mentioned before, but part of it also goes to plant selection, where she has the hemlocks that are evergreen, where she has boxwoods that are evergreen, this little juniper crawling over the edge of the pond in front of me, but also deciduous trees like the Japanese maples. It's a really beautiful blend of native and non-native. Obviously the phlox is in bloom now. We get this great show of spring ephemerals. A few weeks ago there was bloodroot and shooting star, and the ground is just covered. But as that show wanes, another show comes on, and you get the hostas, and you get, the clematis in bloom, and you get sweet shrub flowering later in the summer. And it's just a really beautiful mix of native and non-native plants in a garden setting. And really, at the end of the day, that's what we're doing. We're gardeners, and I love all plants. Robin loves all plants. So many of us love plants of every kind. And I think at the end of the day, what we're really trying to do is be good stewards and create beautiful spaces and something that we can love and enjoy.
You find all these little interesting spots in the garden. This is a plant that I grew for a long time at my nursery. It's an abelia called Canyon Creek. Rose Creek abelia became super popular, and most people keep it around 3.5 feet tall. Of course, if you put one in high shade like this, they're going to stretch a bit, and this is Canyon Creek. And in the spring, you can see the really great color on it. It's got this chartreuse foliage, but the new growth on it has this kind of darker coloration. It'll start blooming, on toward June or so before it gets into bloom. But it's interesting looking at an abelia that's kind of limbed itself up some. It actually has this exfoliating bark down below, which you would expect to have, in a shrub in a wooded space. This is going to how it's going to be. But in a garden like this, where it's stretching, rather than trying to constantly meatball it, you can just let it limb itself up and put the black mondo underneath it and the hosta underneath it and the piece of driftwood underneath it, and just make it a more interesting space overall. And then the building behind it all looks beautiful as well. But I think Canyon Creek got lost in the mix somehow. So many new abelia out in the world, but if you're looking for one, that this is such great color. And again, it's going to bloom all summer long, pollinators all over it.
So here's a really neat plant, and one of my favorites in Robin's garden. I think most of us are familiar with our native mayapple, but you may not be as familiar with some of the varieties that come from Asia. And this is one of them. This is Podophyllum pleanthum, and you can see that it's in bloom down here. The nice thing about these podophyllums is that they stay put. You can see it has a couple of babies put up over here next to it, but it basically will just form a clump instead of running throughout the garden like our native one does. And it's a great plant paired with things like Japanese painted fern, really nice combination down here on the wall with the little saxifrage, the strawberry begonia growing up. And then even on over, it kind of repeats the same form of leaf with this plant called Sinuolysis, or shredded umbrella plant. So I think every gardener, as you sort of mature and you get an eye for design, begins to come up with these combinations of things. And we've looked at 4 plants here. Yes, the mayapple is in bloom, but it's a very subtle bloom. This is really about foliage. Foliage combinations, foliage textures, foliage colors. And in a shade garden, that is really important because that's what you have for most of the year is great foliage.
One of the great selections of our native Juniperus virginiana is gray owl, which is almost underused, almost criminally underused. Sometimes I think in gardens, all kinds of different junipers out there being used, but this is such a good one. Again, in this high shade, look how big, the shrub is getting plenty of light to perform well. And stay pretty full, but you can see it's definitely stretching a bit more. So the plants don't read the tags, and if we put them in places where it's going to be a little more shady, it's still getting the great blue color. And what a perfect plant. Again, in a garden with a lot of herbaceous perennials, a lot of spring ephemerals, a lot of things coming and going, things losing their leaves during the season. What a great plant to have in place. One plant I'm a little jealous of, Steph, if you can figure out how to back up over to this area, you can see how beautiful this entire garden is. There's a deutzia blooming along the path. It has the gold foliage on it as well. Steph's backing down some steps. We should have just shot this in two pieces. Probably would have been a better way. There's some microbiota here, which is what do they call this? Russian, I can't remember what the common name for it is. We're a little bit jealous of this because we're in Raleigh. It's a little too hot for it. It's this really cool conifer, and when we go up in more northern areas, we see it frequently. Super soft textured, lays absolutely flat to the ground, but it's another one, with a rock like this, where it's been allowed to grow over the top of it. you know, just create these, just a perfect space for that plant to just crawl down over these steps, and it buffers the edge of this so you don't have the sharp edges. It's basically no maintenance. It's preventing weeds from germinating, obviously, in that spot. And again, I'm kind of jealous of this one. Maybe it's the high shade here that's really helping it near, you know, the Nashville area, because it's still hot here, of course. Maybe if we try this in our garden, we do something like this where we can put it up closer to the back line and a little bit of shade and give it a try.
So this is a little gladiolus. It's actually an old pass-along southern plant, perhaps Carminius or one of those species. But it is an old plant that you'll find on farms and gardens all around the South. It rides along with plants when they're shared. And it's just a great color, I think, this time of year with the phlox in bloom, and then you've got these lime green hostas popping up around. You've got the kind of lime green sedum in the background. It's just it's all that spring green, and then this bright pop of kind of fuchsia here in the foreground. So one of my personal favorite plants is Solomon seal. I have never met a Solomon seal that I don't love, and I have a huge collection of them myself. This variety right here is called Fireworks, and you can see that the leaves are very heavily striated with variegation. It's a great combination with the black mondo grass and even the boxwoods. It's a nice textural contrast. And one of the reasons that I love Solomon seals is because they give you a really long season of interest. Again, the blooms are fleeting in the spring. They're small and white, basically. These are done. But you get this great foliage effect from, let's say, late March in most of the southern region, all the way through October, when many of them color up bright yellow. So you even get fall color out of a perennial. And so this is Fireworks. Also here in Robin's garden, we've got a variety called Double Wide, or sometimes it's sold as Angel Wings. She also has the giant Solomon seal, which grows about 5 feet tall. You have to have a little elbow room for that one. And a really beautiful variety from Japan called Byakuo, or White Tiger. And that's one of my favorites. And I just noticed that there's another one blooming right here in front of this little tree. This actually is a Solomon seal, believe it or not, and it's one that climbs. You can see the little hooks on the end of the leaf, and it will climb up, and it has orange flowers in the leaf axils. Let
me tell you how crazy the world of horticulture is. We were a year and a half ago on a driveway of a friend near Philadelphia, and these two awesome people pulled in and spent a couple days with us there. And then a year and a half later, fast forward, we're near Nashville, Tennessee, staying on their driveway. And then they tell us about this beautiful garden that's close to them, and then call a friend who can help us film this garden, who's also a professional, basically a professional behind the camera, as you guys have seen. And Troy and I are Facebook friends. I don't know I don't know how this. We've never met before, but somehow we're friends.
Here we are.
But this is how horticulture is. You know,
it's a small world.
It's one chance encounter with somebody who loves plants connects you to a world of people who love plants.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, it's true. It truly is. So, really, thank you for this. Coming out this morning and spending some of your time with us. I think one of the other things we should probably talk about is, beyond the plants here, is how these natural materials are used.
Oh yeah.
To create this space as well. I always like using natural materials.
Well, and the thing I think she's done so beautifully here is integrated old brick with natural stone, and even the pebbles that are in places. I mean, she would say, I'm not an artist, I'm not a designer.
Right.
You can see that that's not true.
Right, yeah. We filmed it a couple like this where you can really see that they are artists. We filmed it one not that long ago where there's not a stone in the back garden. They did it a patio, and then she put a raised stone in the patio as if they had built around a boulder that was there, and it's like, yeah, you're an artist,
right?
Yeah.
That's
Some
exactly
people
right.
just have this thing that they can do, and it's just like it's even like the baskets.
Right, and the pots.
Our friend Terry was pointing out that we have a 7-gallon black container.
Right.
her weeding basket is
it's
a decorative
basket.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. So thank you so much.
You're so welcome
For being on. Yeah,
Absolutely.
We'd love to get back over here to Nashville and
please do.
see other things.
Anytime.
Thanks for watching, guys.